Saint Lucia, mama, that's the land of my birth. Welcome, welcome to Saint It's been a long time since I saw you, and I'm going out of my mind. Don't think I can live another minute without you by my side. How your presence makes me weak and tense from my eyes. I need you now. I need you here. I need your love. These around me and chase away my fears. I want it now. I want it now.
Bonjour tout le monde, jodi a c'est vendredi, et puis 10h, et puis temps pour l'autre episode of Rum Shop Talks. Good morning everyone, it is Friday, 10 a.m., and it's another episode of Rum Shop Talks. Today, we'll be doing Rum Shop Talks a little bit different, for reasons that were unanticipated. I am unable to do a live show for you guys today, but I wanted to make sure that even with my absence, Rum Shop Talk continues, that you guys get your rum drink and you get your legal questions answered. So for today's rum drink, we're gonna actually step away from our chairman's menu and do something differently. We have just one last drink on our chairman's menu, and that one I want to do live with you guys, and so we're gonna save that for when I'm able to come back and do a live show. But today we're gonna talk rum and cokes, and actually have a little story for you guys with that. And for the legal portion of our show today, we will be discussing why parents should not use their estate plans to manipulate their children. All right, so story time for the Rum and Coke. You guys know how we do this here at the Rum Shop. I actually had we had friends over recently, and my friend asked me how do I like my Rum and Coke, and it kind of threw me off for a loop a little bit, because I'm like, wait, it's just a Rum and Coke. What do you mean? Like, I like my rum and my Coke just with my rum and my Coke. And we actually started having a conversation about it, and it turned out that I guess everyone likes their rum and Coke differently. It was like, well, what kind of Coke do you like, and what kind of rums do you put in your rum and Coke? So I figured I'd share with you guys. So my favorite way to have a rum and Coke, so I'm not a soda drinker naturally, but when I do have soda, cherry Coke is my favorite. So my preference for rum and Coke is cherry Coke. My rums, I tend not to like to use like really crappy rum in my drinks, so you won't see me mixing Sailor Jerry's in my rum and Coke. However, I don't like using premium rums in my rum and Coke either. Premium rums should be sipped and not mixed with Coke, okay? So I usually go for a middle of the road type of rum. So my preference when I have it is the St. Lucia Bounty rum, and that's what you would usually mix with rum and Coke. However, St. Lucian Bounty rum is very difficult to attain. I've only seen it sold in St. Lucia or online for a lot of money. So my next go-to for my rum and Coke is the Barbados Montgay rum, and so that you can actually, it's the Eclipse Montgay rum. You can get that from the Bevmo or a Total Wine, so it is accessible for anyone in the United States to acquire. And so that is what we're going to be using today for my rum and Coke. So second story to go with the rum and Coke, and why I thought that was like a really cool thing to share with you guys as a St. Lucian drink. So I want to say, what was it, like 10-15 years ago, I went to St. Lucia with my family for the first time, and we went to a restaurant in a town called Soufrière, and my husband, while he was ordering food, he got himself a Piton beer, which is a St. Lucian beer. he asked the bartender, lady person, if she could make him a tropical drink for his wife. And mind you, my husband, if you guys have seen any of the videos that show him or been on my Facebook page, my husband's white. And he's thinking tropical drink, you're gonna get like, you know, some sweet, orange, like a Mai Tai kind of drink, right? And it shocks him because he watches the lady pour out a rum and coke. And he's like, wait, that is not a tropical drink. But in St. Lucia, a rum and coke is very popular. It is a very easy thing to make. And honestly, if you're gonna have, like I said, Bounty rum, which is St. Lucian rum, your preferred chaser for that is Coke. Which is why when he asked for a tropical drink, she was like, here you go, a rum and coke. So today's tropical drink for you guys is a rum and coke. We're gonna just pop some ice in here. So I'm just gonna show you guys how I like my rum and coke, and you'll don't judge me because you'll see how much rum I actually pour in there. Don't judge me, I won't judge you. And we can just drink our rum however we like it, okay? So, like you guys know how I do it. I don't really measure things unless I have to. I'm an eyeballer. So, I usually like this much rum in my glass, right? And so I usually end up with like a little bit more rum than Coke. Some people like more Coke than rum. This is not cherry Coke. Gotta be so careful not to spill it. All right, here we go. And if you've worked in a bar before, you know you gotta tip your glass to the side when you're pouring soda in so we don't overflow and spill. See, I'm putting my my young bartending skills to use here, making this drink for you guys. And that's how I have my rum and coke. And sometimes I actually like to just dump a slice of lime in there, just give it a little bit of fruity flavor. But rum and coke, cheers. Definitely more rum than coke. All right, why don't you guys tell me? I'm interested because like I said, I didn't realize that there was a difference in how people made their rum and coke, but I guess there is, and you can have a whole conversation about it. So I'd love to know how you guys like your rum and coke. So share in the comments below. As I mentioned in the beginning, our legal question for today, or legal topic for today, is why we shouldn't use our estate plans to manipulate our children. Now, you guys might be thinking that this is like, you know, funny and an off chance kind of thing. Let me tell you, it's not. In fact, I have a fair amount of clients who call me at least once a year wanting to change their estate plans because they want to either put their kid back in or take their kid out. And typically, when I always ask those questions, especially if you're removing a kid out of an estate plan, I am the attorney who wants to know why, because we want to make sure that that child is not, that there's no manipulation being done with the parents. Like, you know, no parent is being undue influenced into making those decisions. So I always ask. And you would not, it doesn't surprise me anymore, but it used to surprise me that people would say things like, you know, my kid hasn't been to see me in a long time, or my kid isn't letting me see my grandchildren. Now, I understand why this would be upsetting for any parent or grandparent, all right? But the place to resolve those things is not in your estate plan. So I have taken it upon myself to start asking my clients we always ask this question at the beginning of an estate plan, but definitely when they come back, I try to remind them. And the question is, what is your goal for creating your estate plan? And inevitably the answer that I get more often than not, is the goal is to help my child. Now, if the goal is to help your child acquire assets, help your child have a start in life, then does it matter if that child is behaving in a way that is acceptable to you right now? And when we have a conversation about that, and I have been able to get a few clients to see that if the goal is truly to benefit your child, then it doesn't really matter how that child behaves, in his or her life. It's more important how you feel about what you're doing, and the good feeling that comes from knowing that whatever you have is going to pass on to that child, and whether that child appreciates it or not, you're dead anyways. I'm sorry, this sounds very crass, but you're dead anyway. But the feeling, the lifetime feeling that you have is often much more important than anything else. And what we've come to realize is it doesn't really matter what you put in your estate plan. Your children will act however they want to act. You cannot force a child into behaving in a particular manner by changing your estate plans. What you can do, however, by being so flip-floppy is, one, complicate your estate plan. The more amendments you have, the more complicated it becomes when it's time to administer it. What is the real distribution? What is not? Also, that kind of flip-flopping actually makes it, opens your estate plan to the possibility of contest. When you have that many indecisive, a lot of indecision in your estate plan, and we see that pattern of changes, it makes estate planners and also families wonder, was mom or dad being manipulated into making those decisions? And when that question comes up, the follow-up question or the follow-up action is, should this be litigated? Can we prove that mom was, especially for a child who was left out of the estate plan, you're basically giving them the opportunity to contest that by trying to prove that you were being manipulated into making this decision. So you want to create an estate plan. You want to create one that's ironclad. You want to make changes when changes are warranted. What you don't want to do is to approach your estate plan from an emotional standpoint and make changes to it at a whim when you're not happy with how your beneficiaries are acting. So that is my little tidbit nugget for today. As always, I thank you guys for stopping in and spending some time with us. I wish you a very happy Friday. I look forward to the next time that I can be live with you guys. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you here